In this video series, we'll look at job description that you guys, technical recruiters, may see from time to time, and still some of you do not understand the key terms. Like here, for example, a database server. Do you guys really know what the database server is? Looking at the standard use case, you have a user here who uses some application. It could be a mobile application, it could be a browser accessing some website. In any case, the application connects to an application server to either store or access data. So there is an API here. We talk about APIs in another video. So what is important right now is this application server accesses a database. You can see a database here, and a database is a collection of data. There are data stored in a database. There could be a relational database. So in a relational database, there would be tables. There could be a non-relational database. So the data would be stored in files, in JSON files, for example. So, there are these two categories of databases. We discussed this in another video. So here I will focus mostly on the database server. So a database server is something that allows these users and systems to store and retrieve data. Okay, so first store, second retrieve data. And this seems straightforward, right? You have an application, a user wants to store some data. It could be a task list. A user wants to save what kind of tasks he or she needs to complete. So the user, uses an application, hits a save button, then an API needs to connect to a database to save the task to a database. Okay, so you need to store data. You can store log files, you can store transaction data, you can store information about products, like all sorts of information, right? There are only more and more data stored every day because of all these devices, Internet of Things. Every company collects more and more data. As days pass. So first we need to store data, and then a user may come back the other day, refresh a list of tasks and see like, hey, what tasks am I supposed to complete today? So then you need to pull the data, you need to retrieve the data from a database. Okay, so the database server enables this all. It's a database server that allows to store and retrieve the data. And if we look deeper, the database is not just about the storage, it's also about the data manipulation. So sometimes we need to modify the data, sometimes we need to adjust some values, sometimes we need to archive part of the data, sometimes we need to perform backups or cleanups. A database server also takes care of the user management, because obviously not everyone can access a database. In a database there could be confidential data, so we need to take care of all security matters. Okay, so this is what a database server takes care of. Starting with security, user management, data manipulation and archiving, obviously storage, performance. So we need database administrators to administer these database servers. And the the bigger company, the more data it stores, the more important it is to administer these properly. So looking at the job description, we saw here a JD for a database administrator who will be configuring database server to work with middleware, web servers, and online analytical processing tools, etc., etc. So a database administrator needs to also optimize the database so it can run in an optimum fashion. It can perform well as soon as users request data from a database. And not just users, but it could also be internal employees from a company. So sometimes the data needs to be migrated from one database to another database. One database could be transactional, the other database could be analytical. This is fairly common. That's maybe something we could discuss in another video. But for now, let's wrap it up here. I wanted to explain to you guys, recruiters, what a database server is and how it fits the overall infrastructure. Okay, so I hope this is clear. If not, please go ahead and ask me questions below. And with that, I encourage you guys to share this video with your friends and colleagues. And don't forget to subscribe on YouTube to learn more about how to become great at technical recruitment.